Darrell, there's been a lot of talk about, it's preseason magazine season. And so some people always get more love than others just based off of who they are. This is really the first year where A&M hasn't gotten just a ridiculous amount of love just because Jimbo is Jimbo or whatever. Now it's Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin is getting a tremendous amount of just the benefit of the doubt, and you're not having it.
No, I'm not. I mean, I don't ever try to piggyback. You got, that's the one wonderful thing about your shows. You have new guests, fresh shows every day, and so I don't want to bleed over into topics. But this is relevant because we talked about the schedule and the strength of teams,
right?
And why I dropped Ole Miss to where I did is because I am getting tired, and this is not to be a jealousy thing or a comparison or trying to throw shade. What I'm saying right now is factual. It's not opinion, it's factual. Lane Kiffin has built up more equity amongst college football experts, pundits, and writers where the redemption story, and they give him the biggest benefit of the doubt. And I don't understand why. They call him the portal king. I get all that. But he builds equity off of what? Let's talk about it. Number one, most recently, what did he do last year? How did he end his season? Wasn't it with 5 losses in a row? It was, including the Egg Bowl. I think he won his bowl game, but he absolutely collapsed. That's factual. I'm not taking shots at Lane Kiffin. I am stating facts. He lost his last 5 football games, including the Egg Bowl. And he also screwed over
his fan base. Let's just be clear here.
Yeah. I mean, so, and they were so excited. And full disclosure, I wanted him to be Auburn's coach. I was excited. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite. But at the end of the day, he lost 5 games in a row. Why is recency bias towards Auburn at the top of the mantle, but recency bias towards a team that absolutely choked on a steak and gagged and lost their last 5 games? And, we just forget about that. He's the portal king. He's going to be back with a vengeance this year. If it's trending downward and you're going by what Auburn did last year, and that's what they're basing it on, Auburn was 2-2 their last 2 games. Ole Miss was on 4. Mm-hmm. So why does he get that benefit of the doubt? What equity has he built? Let's talk about history. He was at the Oakland Raiders, and Al Davis clowned him in a press conference worse than I've ever seen an owner clown a head coach in my life. I felt sorry for him. He took his manhood with the way he talked about Lane Kiffin, said he was, unethical. He didn't know what he was doing. I mean, he shouldn't have done it. Al Davis shouldn't have done that. It was wrong, but he absolutely destroyed him. So then he leaves and he goes to Tennessee. He has 1 year at Tennessee where he was 7-6 or 6-6 or whatever. On the way out the door, said some things to some recruits that made them mad, leaves in the middle of the night with Tennessee holding the bag, and goes to his dream job at USC. What happens at USC? He gets fired on the tarmac. You know how toxic you have to be to them not want you to get on the plane? I mean, that they let criminals on planes to transport places. He was so toxic, they wouldn't even let him get on the plane and fly back. They fired him on the tarmac. So that tells you everything you need to know. So then here comes the big redemption tour for Lane Kiffin, the big redemption repentance tour, and the rehab assignment that Nick Saban gets him. I'm going to rehab Lane Kiffin and his coaching acumen and his reputation. And he does. And they win a national championship. But then that sours, and Nick Saban says, yeah, I got this in the national championship. We'll let somebody else call plays. You stay home. And parts ways with him before the national championship game after he has been there all year. I don't know the reasons why, but it doesn't look good when you tell your offensive coordinator, dude, we got this. We'll let Sark, who's a grad assistant at the time, not grad assistant, but special consultant, we'll let him call it. Okay, that's 4 examples the media never brings up, but they think he's the golden boy. Why? Where is the equity in what I just said of all the things that I've just gone through that made him earn that reputation? I don't get it.
It's his play design. I mean, that's kind of whatever it all comes back to. But if you're not going to be somewhere for more than 4 seasons, like, who cares?
Well, I know people get fired. I know good coaches get fired. I get it. and he didn't get fired from Tennessee, but he got fired from the Raiders. He got fired
Sure.
from the USC. And although he didn't get fired from Alabama, the next best thing to getting fired is when they tell you to stay home. And I'm not talking about Zoom calls because we're in a pandemic. They say stay home, not work from home. Stay home. We got this. And I know he was going to Florida Atlantic, and I know he did a good job at Florida Atlantic. But again, is that what he's built all this reputation on? What is Ole Miss's record in the 3 years that Lane Kiffin's been there? I don't think it's been out. I mean, his first year he struggled, had a losing record, I think. His second year he did really well, and I think he won 10 wins. Last year, what did he do? Go 7-6? I don't have it pulled up, but I think it was that. Well, I mean, that ain't setting the world on fire. Why is he why is he the golden child in all these people's eyes? That's not Kirby numbers. That's not Dabo numbers. That's not Nick Saban numbers. But he gets the benefit of the doubt. I think Mark Stoops has done more in the SEC than Lane Kiffin has as far as getting more out of what he has.
And he lost to a potato.
He did lose to a potato. He lost to Potato and he lost to Gus back-to-back, right? Gus's last year, he lost, and then he lost to Auburn in making just – and here's the other thing. This is another thing that makes me shake my head. Could you imagine if Gus Malzahn or Hugh Freeze did some of the things on fourth down that Lane Kiffin does?
Fourth down.
And keep doing it over, then go, he's brain dead. They would get ripped.
No, they call him a genius.
They call him a genius.
Yeah.
So when Auburn fans sometimes have that little brother syndrome that the world is out to get us and everybody hates us, I don't like that. It bothers me. But to a certain extent, when things like this happen and you look the other way on facts and results on Lane Kiffin and some of the decision making he has on fourth down, and some of the things he does and says, and you crucify Hugh Freeze and don't want to give him a second chance, no redemption tour for Hugh Freeze, it does come across disingenuous and as a double standard. The Dion comparison that you guys made was spot on.